Hello Dragons, my name is Ben.
And my name is Daniel, and we are the co-founders of Crane's Drinks.
We are asking for £80,000 for 2% of the business.
So I'll take you back to where it all began, and it was while we were at university.
I was down in Exeter enjoying the abundance of ciders they had to offer.
And I was up in Leeds drinking, well, anything I get my hands on. And it was there I actually enjoyed cranberry juice as a way of compensating for that.
So we've both been always health conscious, and having discovered just how much sugar that goes into the branded fruit ciders, it got us thinking.
As twins do, we put our heads together. So utilising the benefits of cranberries, we spent 3 years developing our cranberry cider.
But the amazing thing about our ciders are the fact they're naturally light, which means they have 30% fewer calories than the brand leaders. On top of that, they are vegan-friendly and gluten-free.
Gluten-free. So at this point, you're probably wondering why Crane's? And it's a good question. I'm glad you asked. So back in the 17th century, when the European settlers, they travelled to America, they discovered the cranberry bush, and the flower actually resembled a crane's head. So originally, they were called craneberries, and then they got shortened to cranberries. And with that strong link between our brand and cranberries, it led to the development of our cranberry and blood orange liqueur, which is double award winning, and then more recently, our cranberry gin.
Before you bombard us with questions, would you like to come up here for a drink or two?
Oh, yes.
There you go.
Alcoholic, cranberry-based drinks are the order of the day from twins Daniel and Ben Ritzmer.
G&T for me, please.
They're hoping to get served an £80,000 investment
Raspberry and pomegranate, and then cranberries and limes.
for a 2% stake in their business.
Do you come here often?
I do, actually.
Debbie, do you want to try a bit of the liqueur straight?
Yes, please.
Or do you want to take a bit of Prosecco? Bit of both?
Oh, yes.
That's it.
Yes,
That's it.
please.
There we go.
Once the party's over,
Thank you.
time to let the real fun begin with a round of questions from Deborah Meaden.
Guys, it's nice and the branding is good, but this is going to be about how you take advantage of a market.
Yeah.
So I want to understand your strategy.
OK, sure. So the fruit cider market is still growing, now at 30% of a £3 billion industry, and they're all full of sugar. And everyone knows that the health trends are changing. People are dropping sugar out of their diets, so we're really targeting the change in the markets.
OK, so then can I ask, your gin,
Yes.
which obviously has been on the crest of a wave, but actually is probably on the tail end of that.
Yeah.
Why gin? Why would I equate a cider maker with a gin maker?
Yeah, sure. So, we just listened to our consumers. We did like a social media poll, and they actually requested for us to bring out a gin.
But why? Flavour or low sugar or...
No, it's the flavour, because obviously going back to sort of the name Crane's, we're sort of stuck with cranberries. Not stuck, but we love them anyway. But we,
One of those words.
Yeah, so we have a legacy towards cranberries, so that's why we developed our cranberry gin.
The drinks entrepreneurs are confident that their cranberry concept is enough of a USP to make them stand out in the notoriously crowded gin market. But Theo Paphitis wants to bring the focus to the company finances.
Let's go through it, because you have walked in here with a ridiculous valuation. But it might not be ridiculous. So we're going to find out.
Okay.
When did you form?
So it was back in 2012, and then we've properly been selling for the last 3 years.
OK, so let's go through those 3 years. You will
Yep.
know these numbers like the back of your hand.
Do indeed.
So 2017, we turned over 85,
OK?
a net loss of 85. Then last year, we turned over 254,
OK.
and then a loss of 52. This year, we're on target to reach 670,000, and we're making a net loss of 38.
OK, so how do we get to 4 million on those numbers?
We've looked at the market, we've analysed it, we looked at a number of different examples, and a 6 times revenue is a fair valuation, especially with our level of growth. Well, it's how the market's going. I mean, it's all about craft. The big guys, they struggle with their own product development, and they look at the smaller craft brands to come in, and they tend to buy them. So that's kind of like where we're looking at this.
Do you know, I don't know what I did wrong in my business career, but, you know, I've had to work incredibly hard, deliver a profit before anybody would ever give me any money for any of my businesses.
Well, no, yes, of course.
Guys,
Yes.
I've got to go back to valuation because I don't
Yes.
want to waste my time.
Sure.
As much as it's lovely to meet you and find out about your business, you believe that your business is worth 6 times revenue. You are delusional. And that, for me, when you're pitching, hankers on your individual credibility. Because that tells me that you're in a marketplace that you really don't know anything about.
I mean, we have researched the industry, and I've looked at quite a few. And I mean, Grey Goose were bought out by Bacardi, and they're at 9.7 times revenue.
You can't compare that. You're a start-up craft brand that have done really well. But when you come in and value a business that actually has turned over £200,000 at £4 million, you really do yourselves a personal injustice because you look like 2 really smart, sensible people.
Well, I suppose obviously 6 months ago, yes, it was 250,000, but up to date it's probably more like 450, 500.
But even 450, 500,000, you do really well to get 1 times turnover on a start-up like that. You've not made a penny yet, you're losing money. This isn't an investment at this value or anything like it. So for that reason, I'm out.
Ben and Daniel lose their first dragon as Peter Jones takes exception to the vintage price tag they've placed on their fledgling business. Now, Sarah Davies wants to know if the entrepreneurs are ready to rethink their 2% offer.
Guys, how do you feel now you've just had the Peter Jones reality check?
To be honest, I mean, we have look at a lot of different businesses that do get bought out.
OK, so you're going to give us loads of examples, but all we're going to hear is noise.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Because we all understand the reality of business.
Yeah.
And the more you talk, the more we don't believe that you do understand the reality
sure.
of business.
Yes.
So, do you still feel like your business has a valuation anywhere close to that?
And
Or are we literally all wasting our time?
No, I appreciate where you guys are coming from. I guess it's an element of negotiation. To gain the experience of a dragon, it's something that could be an option.
So, there are 4 dragons left in.
Yes.
Do you want to restate your offer? What would you be willing to give up in your company to have one of the rest of the 4 of us on board? And I think really carefully before you give an answer.
Okay.
If anything, you know, if you have an idea in your head, you know, you're happy to.
Right back at you.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
mean,
dangerous game to play, guys.
What's that,
Yeah,
against the
no,
wall?
I mean,
Or do- okay. If we were to increase it to 4%, would that make any difference?
So you've really insulted me now. I don't think you've kind of quite heard what's been said.
Okay.
I'm out.
Okay.
Yeah.
An affronted Sarah Davies is the second dragon to shut down negotiations. Will Theo Paphitis turn the Booz Brothers' fortunes around and give them a shot at investment?
Guys, listen, it just feels to me that you've got carried away starting your own business, your own brewery.
Okay.
I'm not going to say to stop what you're doing, but what I'm going to say to you is take time out, breathe, and recalibrate. That's the only advice I'm going to give you. I'm certainly not going to give you any of my kids' inheritance because I think it will be wasted.
Okay, no worries.
So I'm afraid I'm out.
Guys, I'll tell you what I'm thinking. You're very, very early stage. And what frustrates me a little bit is that you want a dragon to add value and come in, 2% coming in here offering that, and you want us to open doors.
Yeah. I guess if you can give us a good case and say I can do this for you, then we can say, well, in fact, that case maybe we can give you more. But like we don't know exactly what you guys can offer, I guess.
Look, I think you can make a success of it, but the valuations are not realistic in terms of an investable business. And I'm not a fan of cranberry nor of cider, unfortunately. So
Not the winning combo then.
I'm going to say I'm out.
Double trouble for the twins as 2 more dragons call time on the investment. leaving only Deborah Meaden able to rescue their pitch. But it looks like she spotted an altogether different problem in their alcohol business.
Guys, I think there's a real issue with you using the same brand across all product.
Okay.
Just because gin happens to be selling, I'm not sure I'd have produced a cranberry-based gin, which is an ingredient. That's not a heritage, that's not a history, it's an ingredient. To give yourself heritage and history, you need a story, and that probably sits somewhere in the individual products.
Okay.
These apples are grown in so-and-so, you know, but actually just saying, well, they've all got cranberry in, I don't think it's strong enough. It isn't an investment for me, so I'm out.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys. Sorry for insulting you.
No, it's all right.
Cheers, guys.
It's closing time for Ben and Daniel as the Dragons fail to be intoxicated by their business.
That's not how I planned it. It was incredibly nerve-wracking. As soon as Peter had stopped writing, I knew that was a bad sign. He didn't seem that interested, and I thought, OK, we've lost him here.
Why do people come in here with these sort of valuations? Product might be OK, but a £200,000 business isn't worth 4 million.
And then the credibility
And
goes
then
out
they're on the
window.
back foot, and the chances of them getting anywhere is slim to none.
The evaluation we feel is, yes, it might be a little punchy, but as long as we believe in it, that's all that matters.